Guys, thanks for being here today. It's going to be a Shop My Stash all drugstore video. I recently had a Shop My Stash request and I never like to overlook those or not act on those requests because I do love doing those videos, and I think it's just as important to stay in touch with the products that you've had for a little while as it is to discover new things, because that's what gives you the full perspective, right, on makeup. So I've shopped my stash. I put it all in my little bag here. By the way, anytime I pull up this bag, I get questions about it. I got this in Drunk Elephant PR several years ago, and it really is a nice bag. I don't see any kind of other brand name on it, like some other brand they use to make this. I don't know. But it is a really great size, and it's kind of my go-to thing that I just leave up here empty and just use it for Shop My Stash type stuff. So yeah, let's jump in and get started. I'm going to use this Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup as my primer today. So this is in the shade Light. By the way, the skin is already prepped with moisturizer and sunscreen and all that good stuff. So I've put this on all over. You can't really see total streaks of product there on my skin. It really meshes right in with my skin tone. But this is the drugstore comparable product to a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter type of thing. Gives you glow. I've done a full video on this if you're interested, but I personally just hadn't used this in a while, so I thought I would bust this out and just use it to give my skin that glowy, primed look. And then for my foundation, I realized it had been so long since I'd used the dewy version of my Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I use the regular all the time, but this one, I mean, it was just kind of in the back of my drawer, and I have it in Buff Bisque. By the way, the regular version, you guys know how I love that. I found an entire article about how some girl on The Bachelor, like, that was all she used and she always looked great and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's something to that. A lot of people complain about the scent of this, but I mean, it's not really something that you're gonna keep on smelling and smelling forever. You just gotta get through the blending phases. Frost the cake. And I'm gonna use a beauty blender. I tell you what, with some things, I'm so like precise in thinking about how much I'm putting on. Like when I put on that Kosas foundation, I'm like, yes, exactly half a pump, maybe a slight bit more. And then with this stuff, could I have been any more careless and not thinking with the amount I just slather on, but somehow it just works. So yeah, I really can tell a difference between this and the regular version. They seem like they would be similar coverage, and I think they are similar, but this is a little less. You know, just the glowy factor in it just gives it more of a light look on the skin, don't you think? And now I feel like the skin looks super radiant, especially pairing this with the primer that I use. But yet to touch it, I don't feel overly tacky. A little bit tacky, but not bad. I had to put more on here because I had to wipe my nose. I did like 2 new TikToks over the weekend. I'm feeling so drawn to contribute to my TikTok, and I get some comments on there. The views are doing like great, and I'm getting comments from people who are like, you were the first YouTuber I ever watched, or I used to love watching you on YouTube back in the day. And I comment back to them like, still making videos 3 times a week. So I'm so grateful to those of you who are with me here on YouTube and do watch me, or have watched me for a long time and don't feel like it's old hat to keep watching me or something. Thank you so much. How do we get this TikTok crowd over here? Like, I have my YouTube channel linked on my profile, but maybe I need to mention something in the TikTok, like, please follow me on YouTube. It's where I do my main stuff. Let's work on that, gang. We gotta get them over here, and we gotta get their attention span extended to about a 20 to 30 minute video. That's kind of my norm, right? Age Perfect Radiant Concealer. I must have decluttered a lot of stuff recently because, and this is in Ivory 200, I wasn't finding a lot of concealers that I hadn't used in a while, you know, like everything seemed very front of mind and I just went after it. So this is a lighter concealer. There was one that I really liked from L'Oreal. It was in their Infallible Pro Glow line. Gosh, do they still make it? I haven't even looked for it in the store for a long time. But, you know, they got the Infallible Matte Foundation and the Infallible Glow Foundation. And then there's the Infallible Glow Concealer. And this is a lot like that. It's a good, lightweight, everyday kind of concealer. It won't dry out your under eyes. It covers well enough. Depending on what you're dealing with, you might not feel like, gosh, that took care of everything, no doubt, the way e.l.f. Camo Concealer might. But you know, the benefit, like I said, is it's lighter and it just has an even more natural look on the skin. So I've got three pretty glowy things happening right now, and I'm frankly really liking the look. I pulled out a setting powder. This is my Catrice Prime and Fine Luminizing Powder. It's waterproof. The shade is Radiant Beige. They call it luminizing. The shade is Radiant Beige. It's not luminizing really. It's just a matte kind of pressed translucent powder, but good texture on the powder. I have used it quite a bit actually, and I've had good staying power with it, setting different areas with this. As you can see, I'm mattifying a little as I put that on. I'm going over T-zone, kind of around the mouth and under eye with this. It's just funny. It's like, where do some of these people who stumble across me randomly on TikTok, where do they think I've been? Do they think I've not been doing videos at all on YouTube? Do they just not seek them out whatsoever? I grabbed out a little Believe Beauty trio here. This is the Get Glowing Highlight and Contour Palette in light medium. So bronzer, blush, and highlight. As I recall, this is good. Believe Beauty makes a really good powder texture. Their bronzers, their blushes, highlights, all those things have worked really well for me. Their eyeshadows as well have been so good, so you really can't miss. The only thing with this is it seems like the bronzer is pretty light in this compact, but we'll work with it. I can see it more in the contour zone, can't you? I've really been enjoying my Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches bronzer so much lately, really falling back into that. And my Wet n Wild blushes too. Now we're gonna dig in. We're gonna tap into this peachy blush, which looks like, you know, not so much pure Shouting from the Rooftops peach, but kind of like a dusty corally shade, right? Once it gets blended in on the cheeks. And we're talking an overall matte finish with these first two products, and then the highlight is going to give us some glow. I love Believe Beauty. It's a great brand, and just kind of amazing that Dollar General has it all to themselves, you know? But rock on. I love it. Okay, we're going to go into some highlight right now. Pick up a little bit. These are nice soft powders, but not annoyingly so. That glow. Dewy dewy. But my skin doesn't feel off the charts tacky. And you might say, Em, well, why do you shop your stash and just do drugstore sometimes? I mean, sometimes I shop my stash and just make it a free-for-all, but I sometimes like to specifically do drugstore because I want the spotlight to be on drugstore sometimes. I want to think of things in the drugstore scope as I use them, and maybe I know I've got some videos coming that aren't going to be drugstore, and it kind of gives drugstore its time, you know? Here's something I haven't used in a while, my Milani Supercharged Face Mist. It's the ginseng and citrus extracts. This feels like you're spraying orange juice in the face. Really appealing, I know. But like, it smells good. Not like sticky like I'd be if I put orange juice in the face, but dang, like I'm already glowing and now I'm feeling more like set and pulled together. For the eyebrows, I pulled out something that we're gonna test and see if it needs to be thrown out. It's my Tattoo Studio Brow Pomade from Maybelline. It's in Ash Brown, and we're just gonna see if it's got any juice in it. This is, I believe, the original brush that came with it. It's an angled brush and spoolie. And I love this stuff. As far as brow pomades go, I feel like it has hold and color. And the color of it is really good for my brows. It's a nice cool shade. Can't be going in with the reddish browns with my coloring. You know, I think it's working. It feels creamy as I go into it. With pomades, it's just a little bit more of a finesse thing. You gotta sometimes take your time a little bit, be willing to build up little by little, because they can take you under, you know? You can really screw some things up with a pomade because they're much more opaque. They can go on with even more opaque intensity than a pencil even, if you're using a lot at a time. So just be aware of that, but yeah. This is fine. Sorry for doubting you. Once I get to the inner part of the brow, you'll notice I'm making less of a sideways stroke and more of an up stroke with it. And that's making the hairs that are there kind of follow me up. Guys, what are we gonna do about this March Madness? Baylor's down, Illinois down. I haven't even checked to see if Purdue ended up winning last night. Oh my gosh, I need to know. Because I have them winning it all. I'm shooting this on Monday morning. Purdue. They won! They won! 71-81 against Texas. Sorry, Longhorns fans. I just have Purdue taking it all, so it's kind of important that they keep on winning. I caught one of their games. I can't remember who they were playing. Was it Michigan State? Just before the NCAA tournament started. And I was like, wow, Purdue is really good. Everybody in our family filled out brackets. I made Nookie and Biddy fill out brackets. And then I did one for Bubba. He started answering me when I was asking between the teams. And then he lost interest, so I just went on a coin flip for every other pick. All right, so we're pretty well filled in there. I am going to use a little gel. We'll use this Wet n Wild Mega Clear. Love it. Brows are looking good, I think. Anyway, most of them had Illinois winning. I think Bubba had Gonzaga winning. Dad had Gonzaga. I chose Purdue. We are gonna do, where's my, oh, okay. We're gonna do some Milani eyeshadow primer, and then I picked an e.l.f. bite-size quad to use today. It's one of my most underused ones in the whole bunch, but it made me think springtime when I laid eyes on it, so I thought, let's go. It's this rose water one. Yeah, why have I not given this more love? It's got 2 shimmers, 2 mattes. Well, this one wants to have a little sparkle in it, but I think it's gonna apply matte. I feel like maybe in the past I struggled with the contrast between this shade being so dark and everything else kind of being a mid-tone. I don't know. But we're going to take that mid-tone, which is just kind of like a grayish taupe, and we'll bring that into the crease. Can you barely see it? That's maybe why I didn't fall in love with this one right away. Because that shade just kind of doesn't exist on me when I put it on. We're going to work with this dark, it looks almost plummy, like a plummy black. It's in your hands now. Plummy black. I'm using my flat brush from Morphe, which has been a fantastic dupe for the flat brush that I had used tons in the past from Sigma, and I just found myself thinking, you know, I can go cheaper. Like every brush I need, I can pretty much find at a drugstore price. And Morphe has a variety of little flat brushes, like smaller ones than this, which you've seen me use too. So we're just patting that on. We're seeing, is there any fallout? Not really. Good. Get it in the crease some. I'm gonna give ourselves a little lift. Okay, gonna use my small pointed brush into that same shade. Try not to get too much on the brush, but you know how I like to take that to the outer corner. You're seeing a small circular motion happening, and we're just letting that be brought up, okay? A little lift. Beautiful. Okay, that's not bad at all, my friends. I feel like it's really mainly one shade doing the work, but it did it, didn't it? Okay, then I'm going back to my crease brush in that same shade we started out with, and just kind of use that now. Here's how it can be useful to us. Just use it on the border, you know, and it makes everything look a bit softer perhaps. Okay. Then I mentioned a smaller brush from Morphe. This is the M709. It's comes to a little taper at the tip, and I'm going to use this most pinky looking shade. Ooh, that is pretty. That really helps things come alive, doesn't it? Middle of the lid. I mean, there's not a ton of different ways to use a quad, but that's also the comfort of a quad, right? Only so many places you're gonna go with it. So there we are, patting that pink, nice cool pink on the lid, and then we'll just move to this, and we'll have used every shade. This shade a little lighter and brighter. Really not having any trouble patting on these shimmers. They're wanting to build. So I think some of my cool tone look lovers will enjoy this look probably, you know, no fiery warm browns or anything. These are nice creamy eyeliners. The Revlon's So Fierce, and I've pulled out the shade, oh, don't they try to hide it, Mighty Mocha. So maybe we can just put some of this across the upper lash line and maybe smudge it a little on the lower too. I'm not feeling like I need to take it all the way in, but I'm just keeping it really tight to the lash line. And then I'm going to do some down here and just smudge over it with the finger. And what I'm finding is using a pencil liner that's smudged or a jumbo shadow stick down here can last better than doing powder down here on the lower lash line. The powder just moves around a little more for whatever reason. So I'm just kind of dabbing it here. Dabbing and blending, the old dab and blend, but just giving me a little definition to the lower lash line. And then it's hard for me to find mascaras I haven't used in a while, you know, because everything in my mascara drawer is fairly fresh. But I did have this Almay Lengthen Lift mascara, and we're gonna pull this back in because you know I'm always wanting some lengthen lift. A couple of the things that I'm most thrilled, and this is a very typical brush here, y'all, just spiraled around. I think I got this for a Dolly Parton look a while back because this was said to be what she used, I think. But the highlights of the look so far for me have been the foundation and the concealer. I do like the dewy version of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I still think I don't like it quite as much as the regular, but it's still fabulous. And then I really liked that Age Perfect concealer. This did a really good job, and for as light and just not cakey, not heavy looking as it is, it covered quite well. So I'm getting that mascara on. There's a new It Cosmetics CC cream that I'm experimenting with, y'all. Obviously taking a break from the experimentation today, but been trying it. It's a lighter one, lighter weight, lighter feel on the skin for sure. So I'm going to be talking to you about that very soon, but I think you'll be intrigued. This mascara builds really well, by the way. Here's how we're looking with like 2 coats over here and 1 coat here. This can use a little more thickening up, but overall pretty happy with it. I'm not going to even mess with the lower lashes because I don't want any staying power problems there, but see how much it built there just with 1 quick additional coat? We're going to finish off this look with a sort of soft pinky lip, I was thinking. I pulled out a Revlon Colorstay Satin Ink in the shade Speak Up, and I also pulled out this Infallible Pro Gloss Plump, and that's in the shade Moonlit Rose. Which one? I think this is going to be maybe slightly deeper, a little more opaque. A little softer. Let's go with the softer one. Yeah, we got this glowy skin. It's got kind of an interesting little 8-shaped wand. Actually, this is fairly opaque. Let's just go way off the lips, why don't I? So I'm feeling this sensation. It's cooling. It's feeling even more cooling than a buxom one right now. Man. Try to get a little more on here. The gloss does not appear to have any shimmer. It's just creamy color. As you can see, it's probably like, you know, a 90% opaque gloss. What might we do in terms of just touching up the look a bit? I'm going to add a little more powder to this zone. I don't like to look too shiny precisely right here. Right there. But I'm feeling really pleased with this look and this face of rediscoveries. Let's take the hair down. And I like to ask myself, coming away from a look these days, what are my top 3? Oh man, that's hard. Can I give 4, please? Okay. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy. I enjoy this. I see myself using this more, pulling for this more frequently alongside just the regular. The Age Perfect Radiant Concealer is gorgeous, I think. Like, really pretty. Could I have more coverage? Yes, but did this do an amazing job for as light as it is? Absolutely. Love it. I really like my Believe Beauty stuff here, particularly the blush and the highlight in this one. The bronzer did its job but was a little light. I prefer my individual bronzer that I have from this brand that's a little deeper, but my goodness, are the textures beautiful here. And then the Tattoo Studio pomade. I mean, this is a terrific product that fills in the brows, gives them that lift, gives them some hold, you know, and it's still got juice in it after all these years. It literally has probably been several years that I've had that. I do like my lip color a lot. If we wanted to have a top 5, I mean, like, just saying. The little e.l.f. quad, you know, ultimately it did the job, and I like this look. I like this little kind of, you know, flared out at the edges type of vibe. But it continues to not be my favorite of the bite-size quads, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this little casual look, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.